Well, let's get back to the relationship and how it changed, because I'm curious if when you first connected with, because you said you feel he changed around the time he became president.
He changed somewhere along the line. I think when he was growing up, he became a senator. I got separated from him. I'd gone back to Africa in 1995 for those reasons. Now, I didn't want anything to do with the Western civilization. I want to go back to African civilization. I was there for 2 years, and then I was broke. So I had to come back. I had no alternative. I had to come back. So I called him, and I said, look, brother, I'm out of cash. I need a place to crash, even for a little bit until I get up on my feet. And he says, no. And I asked him why. He said something about Michelle, I said, okay, is that so?
You were looking to crash in Chicago.
I needed a place to stay. I ran out of money. I need to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I had shipped all my stuff back to Africa.
And
I was never coming back.
So this was after your conversion to Islam, and you had basically cleaned yourself up.
Yes.
And now you were looking to come back to the U.S.
Yeah.
And where was it Sheila, you said?
No, Michelle.
No. Your second, who you ended up marrying.
Cherie. Oh, Cherie. No, I split up with her too.
You had split up with her too.
Yeah.
But you were just looking to come back now to the U.S. hoping for an opportunity here now that you had cleaned up.
Well, no, I was broke.
But you were broke.
Yeah, I was broke. I'd run out of money. And all I could think of was I had no alternative. And back home, nothing was happening because, the dynamics there's you got to know somebody, and so I wasn't, I don't know. Again, I had hit the wall. I was up against, how do you say it?
You'd hit bottom.
Bottom. Okay? So I needed to come back. So what I did, I had a few things. I think I had some diamonds or something. I sold those. And then I got a ticket. So I came back. And before I did that, I called him and I said, can I come? Maybe I could crash. Not that I really wanted to be with him. I just said I didn't have a place to stay. I said, okay, this is my brother. At that time, we were still brothers.
And was he in the Illinois State Senate at that time?
Yeah, I think he was a state in 1995. I think he was a senator.
Yes.
In Illinois. So he said no. So I came back, and I just came. I landed back in the USA, and thank God I had a friend, my old friend Joe. So I called him. I was at the train station. I said, I'm in the USA. I have nowhere to go. He said, oh, he called me Abongo. There was a time I was Abongo. There was a time I was Bobby, then I was Roy, then I was Abongo. That was my African name. Everybody was to call me Abongo.
Abongo.
Even Mubarak, he calls me Abongo. And then after that, then I became Malik.
That's your Muslim name. It's Malik.
That's my Muslim. That is Malik. That is Malcolm X. Malik El-Shabazz.
So
that's where I got that name.
So when you came back to the U.S. at that time, now you were going by Malik? Because
yes.
of your conversion?
No, I was still Abongo at that time.
Okay.
I was still Abongo at the time. And then he said, okay, hey, look, I have a house. I bought a house, and I have a room for you. Come, by all means, you're welcome. So I stayed with Joe from 1997 when I came back up until 2000, the year 2005, when he died.
Mm. Yeah. And your brother became senator in 2004.
2004. 5, I think. Was it?
Maybe he won election in 2004 probably.
Yeah, 5. In the beginning of the year 2005.
And during those few years that you were in D.C., you kept in touch with him?
When I came back?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened was that, so he finds out that I'm in the USA. And either he calls me or he writes me a letter. And he's upset because I'm in the USA and I haven't communicated with him. I didn't let him know that I'm here. So I get upset myself. And so I scold him on the phone. And I tell him, brother, when I was coming and I asked you, could I stay with you? You said no. For all you know, I could be in the gutter right now, in a shelter. I could be out on the street. Why am I supposed to call you? And you abandoned me and rejected me.
He should have at least checked on you, is what you're saying.
You know, he was my brother. I had no way. And then, so I said, and another thing. Your aunt is in Boston, Zaituni. Zaituni is my aunt. She's the one who hosted him in Kenya when he first came. When he came in 1988, there's a VW, a Volkswagen. I don't know if you guys have seen it. That's hers. She gave it to him.
He talks a lot about that VW.
You know, he does.
Because it continually broke down apparently on his trip.
Yes. So. Lean back in, Malik. So.
Or you can push the microphone back toward you either way, right?
Yeah. So I say. So and your aunt is struggling in Boston, and why don't you give her a hand? You know, why don't you give her a hand? So he tells me that she came to the U.S. without a plan. So I think he got upset because I chewed him. I scolded him on the phone. That's from that time.
You were just suggesting that he help her out a bit, right?
Yeah, I think he was obligated to.
Mm-hmm.
He should have. She's his aunt, his father's sister. Now, I don't know about all that because everybody, when I say that he should help his family, people think that, no, they keep telling me that he has no obligation to his family. He doesn't have to do that. You know, they should, do for themselves, you know. So, anyway, it's neither here nor there. But I feel that family is family. And there's a reason why he became president. You know, maybe God said, okay, because your family's struggling, I'm going to give you this so that you can help them out and help others. One time, he told me that I'm not his constituent. Now, that's the language he used, you know. And this is the time when he became elected president. We were celebrating. I slaughtered 5 bulls because of to celebrate his election. 5 bulls. The whole family came down, and everybody. I don't know if you've seen it on TV. Maybe that time it was all over the world. How we were celebrating his victory. I slaughtered 5 bulls just because he's my brother.
So you were in Kenya when he won?
Yes, I was. Mm-hmm.
So the night that they announced that he had defeated John McCain for president, it was a huge celebration in Kenya.
It was a blowout. Everybody was so happy. We were so happy up until now. And I keep telling him, your family, they love you, you know. But you got to do something for them. Why don't you just go and just dig a borehole? Maybe
do what?
Is it a borehole? A borehole. A borehole is where you drill.
A blowhole?
How do you pronounce it in?
Or a well? You mean like drill a well?
For water?
For water. Is it not a borehole?
It's a borehole.
A borehole.
But essentially,
a borehole. Okay? It's just my accent and pronunciation, but I think you know what it is. Like dig a well.
Yes, that would be water. Beneficial to the community.
Just for the family. And, you know, it doesn't cost much. I could do it for them, but they wanted him to do it, something that he does for them, you know.
So slaughtering 5 bulls, tell me about that. What's the significance of that? In America, we don't do that.
You should ask Rob Criley. He's a correspondent. He's a reporter. Look him up. He's Rob Criley. A lot of people came down. And we had a good time. You know.
But what's the significance of slaughtering the bulls? It means you're going to eat them?
No, it's a big occasion. It's a significant occasion, you know, to slaughter a bull in the African tradition. It's to celebrate and...
But I presume you're going to eat them?
Of course.
Okay. And you were the one that slaughtered them yourself?
No, I don't do it myself.
Oh, good.
No, somebody, I just, bought them and family or somebody, and so they were doing all that stuff.
So that's not like a ceremony where it's done in a big circle. No, when you say slaughter 5 bulls, it means I'm feeding everybody with 5 bulls.
Yes,
gotcha.
You're doing that, and you invite everybody. People are there, and it's a big celebration. It's a big thing. And it's like a big party. It's not even, I don't know what it is.
So you had this.
It's like Thanksgiving, maybe what do you call it here? New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Something like that over here.
So you had this little falling out over him not said no to you staying with him, and then didn't follow up with you at all, and then you had that kind of conversation. That was how did that conversation end? Did it end? Were brothers again, or was it kind of very cold after that?
From that time, then it wasn't the same, because in the beginning we took each other for granted. There's a difference when you have a relationship where you take the other person, you take yourself for granted. You just know that, oh, Michael will be there if something happens. Oh, Jim, yeah. If I come to the airport, I know he's going to pick me up if I call him, and so forth and so on. Just like that, that's how it used to be. Mm-hmm. It was a given that I'd be his best man. It was a given that he'd be my best man. No, I mean, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be otherwise. That kind of thing. So when, number one, I couldn't go stay, and then I knew, reality started. In my mind it was, wow, what was that? So that's when now I knew things were different. Mm-hmm. It took the relationship changed.
His view of family was very different than yours.
It was different. And I had just like assumed, that he was my brother. Mm-hmm. When I first met him, I just assumed,
Well, I mean, here's a theory that, he was very excited and anxious to find his family and learn who his family was and connect with them. But once he had connected with them, it's like kind of, okay, now I can kind of put that over here. I know who my family is now, but they're not part of my upbringing. They're not part of my day-to-day life. And, he didn't embrace it as his true family.
So that's exactly how it is. Mm-hmm. And thanks for putting it that way, because now I know that's how it is. I'm getting to to
process it and digest it. Yeah. Well, and look, part of that, frankly, is American versus Kenyan. In other countries, and I know this through my fiance and so on, family is like this. I mean, America, I don't know how we're compared to all other countries, but family's pretty loose here.
I don't agree with you, Jim.
No?
That's not the America that I know.
I think families are stronger in Kenya.
The core value of America that I know is family.
Yeah, they say family, but when they say family, they're not saying it the way Kenyans say family.
Nope. People here will leave their jobs because of their family.
Yes.
That's the America that I know. I don't know. Okay, you're telling me something else,
Well, here's one of my theories about it. In countries that are not as well off, oftentimes children cannot afford to leave the home. Grandparents can't afford to have their own home. So you have families supporting each other and living together and therefore being much closer. Here, where people are a little better off, the kid turns 18 and suddenly, dad gives him money to go get his own apartment and get a car, and he's off and running. And kids leave the house. And the families don't continue to live together. They move to another city. There's lots of options here in America of other cities to go work at, and we wind up scattered all over the country.
Yeah, but in Thanksgiving Day, you all come together.
Yeah. I'm not saying family's not a big deal here. I just don't think it is, but I think it's a bigger deal in Kenya.
No, it's just, but here I think in Kenya, okay, traditionally, yes, but still, it's not like here where, say for example, if your son or your brother is stuck somewhere, maybe you get in your car and go and get him. Over there, they don't do it's not like, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, look,
if, say, for example, your son or your brother or so is serving in Iraq or something like that, and something happens to him, you do whatever it takes to go and get him.
Well, this is as good a time as any, Malik, for us to address this conspiracy theory that's out there about, was your father really his father? Because fitting that conspiracy theory could be that, that's the reason why Barack is not as close to his family now, is that somewhere along the line he realized that you're not really his family. Do you, and that it was, this guy Joel, what's his name?
Joel Gilbert.
Joel Gilbert did a whole documentary, which I watched, an hour and 20-minute long documentary on this, where I think he assumes a lot of facts. And if you watched it, it's pretty compelling when you watch it that, in fact, Barack Sr. was not his father, that instead it was Frank Marshall Davis, this known communist in Hawaii who happens to look a lot like Barack. And he pieces together quite a story, some of it based on facts, some of it conjecture. You've seen it. What is your comment about that movie, having watched it and being with Barack Jr.?
No, I think, like today, what you said, Barack, he wanted to find out, to find his background, and once he had done that, then he disposed of it. I think that's the explanation. Mm-hmm. To that. Now, all these other things, okay, possibly, yes, who knows? I wasn't there with my father when he was with my mother to conceive me. I wasn't there.
Right.
So I can't say. That's something that it's hard to say.
Like you said, it would take a DNA test.
Yeah, that would take it'll, a DNA test would be the most, the best thing to do, to really, without a doubt, know that. Like I told you, I can't tell, even me, whether my father was my real father. But some things, maybe, who knows. But with him, I took him just at face value, because my father said he had a son, showed me some pictures. Okay.
Yeah, which, by the way...
But the way he behaves, sometimes I question that. Mm-hmm. I really do, because he's completely flipped.
Well, we'll get back to that, but just as far as little pieces of evidence that you have that in fact your father is his father, is the fact that your father told you, I have this son.
Yes.
If he didn't, why would he be continuing that lie or that story that Joel Gilbert tells? You would have thought that he wouldn't be telling you that. Also, certainly Barack himself acted as if, at least to start with, that you're his brother. So in his mind, yes, he was the son of Barack Hussein Obama, your father. Did Barack ever indicate to you in any way that he had doubts about who his father was?
No, never. Never. No, he was... No, I never noticed that.
Did you guys ever have a conversation to try to reconcile that tough conversation you had when you got on him about not looking after you? Did you guys ever have a follow-up conversation?
No, not really, because every time I went to the White House, we ended up disagreeing somewhat, because I just didn't understand. I couldn't understand his behavior, and why. But some inside of me, I kind of did, in that, he was from a nobody to a big shot.
He's got a lot of people around him all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
Well, my point being, to your point, he's a big shot now.
Okay.
And he's got Secret Service.
Yeah.
He's got everybody trying to get his ear. Yeah. Everybody wants a piece of him, literally around the entire world.
Okay.
World leaders want to get a hold of him.
Okay.
So he's got a lot of distractions.
Okay.
So you felt that.
Well, he could have invited me for dinner at his place.
So what about
in 8 years?
So let's start with the campaign.
Once.
Were you in the U.S. during the campaign at all?
No. Okay. Yes, I was. That's because the campaigns were start about 2006, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2007, somewhere around there. Yeah, I was here.
But you were never on the campaign trail with him?
No, I wasn't with him.
But he did invite you to the inauguration.
Yes, he did.
And how many family members went to that?
Inauguration, not that many. Not that many.
Auma was there?
Auma was there.
And what about
I was there. My mother was there.
What about your aunt from Boston?
She came, but she came on her own. She just came. She wasn't invited. She just came.
And you guys were at the official inauguration party?
Yes.
And how were you received at the inauguration?
What can I say? It was okay. I mean, we went to all the events, and it was okay. It was okay.
What about for the speech, the inauguration speech itself? Where were you for that?
Yeah, I was there.
Were you on the dais?
I was on the dais. I wasn't in front, but I was like in the back, somewhat in the middle, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was on the dais.
And that's pretty impressive, though. I mean, not many people get to be on the dais for an inauguration speech.
I'm his brother.
You're his brother. I'm just curious if you could put yourself back in your mind at that time as you're sitting there watching him give this speech. What were you thinking?
At that time, we were still like, I still had hope. I still had hope. We hadn't he was still my brother, even though, it wasn't like it used to be. But, I still felt that, there was room for things to change. And it wasn't like all lost, So I was still there, cheering for him. I was happy for him. I was glad that I was there. I would have done anything for him, had he asked me to do this or do that. I would have done it as his brother. And even during the time he was the president, I stood up for him on many occasions. The only time that I changed was when I became a Trump supporter. And this is in 2016, June or July, somewhere around there.
So let me ask you, were you hoping that perhaps he would give you some position in the administration?
Well, I did when he was elected, and I was talking to him on the phone. At that time, I could talk to him on the phone, and I did tell him, brother, give me something to do to help you, let me assist you. And he told me that I'm not a citizen. And I'm not his constituent. And I thought to myself, I've been working in the USA since 1985, legally. Why can't I? What does he mean by that? Citizen, what do you mean?
So this conversation was after he had won, but before he was president?
Before he was president.
Wow. And you weren't technically a citizen. You're a citizen now, I understand.
No, I was a resident. I'd been working.
Right. I just want to get the facts clear.
For 2005, 1985 to 2000. That's 20 years.
Right.
And at that time, I was working with Chemonics, as a manager.
But you weren't a citizen at the time. You couldn't vote.
I couldn't vote.
Right. And so I'm just trying to understand his comment about you not being a constituent. So technically, he's correct. You weren't a citizen. You're not a constituent. But it does seem like a very odd statement to make.
Yes.
What was his point?
I am his constituent. I'm his brother.
You're more than a constituent.
I'm more
You're
than
his brother.
Constituent, yes.
That's why I'm saying it's such a strange statement.
Yeah, but he told me that on the phone. And I said to myself, like with me, I take it as it comes, that's the way it is. Today I take it as it comes, So if that's what he was saying, I wasn't going to argue, but I did. And I asked him to bring my aunt, who is the only living real sister of my father. She's still alive now. She's back in Kenya to come to the inauguration. But he wouldn't do it. Now, maybe it's because he was paying for all of this. He paid for all of it for us coming to the USA. He paid for me to come to the USA.
Well, let's stop there for a second. So, did he pay out of his pocket, or this was out of the inauguration committee money?
Idea. But
probably
with me, I'll give it to him. Okay, he paid. He invited me. I came to the inauguration. So at that time, I was, we were still in good. I had hopes, even though the real relationship had changed. I hadn't written him off.
When did you write him off?
I wrote him off when.
Was it after that first conversation when he didn't give you We called you a constituent or not a constituent?
I started thinking about all this. Now, all this time I was like, "Phew, what's going on here?" Because when I went to the White House, I'd have to make my way to the White House. You know, I'd have to get to the White House. I'd have to like reach out.
In other words, you wouldn't be invited without you asking.
I was never invited to anything.
Other than the inauguration.
Other than the inauguration, yes. The first one. Second one, I wasn't invited.
It was you reaching out saying, hey, I'd like to come see my brother.
Yes. Because he had like Reggie, he told me that Reggie, what's his, I forget his last name, but he's the one who was like his body man.
Okay.
Reggie was really good because Reggie made it happen for me. And so I'd have to reach out to him. I'd like to see my brother. Then I'd have to wait, maybe sometime in 6 months before I could get, to go. Okay.
So how many times did you visit the White House after the inauguration?
Numerous times.
And what would set the scene for me? This is Oval Office?
Yeah, I'd go in there. Okay, and once I go in there, okay, he was good. He'd say, hey, brother, okay, hi, how you doing, and everything, and so forth. And now, the first time I went in there, I went in with a proposal. Okay, my foundation, the Barack H. Obama Foundation, I set it up in 2008. And I talked to him about this prior to his inauguration when he had been elected. Said, I'm going to set up this foundation and in memory of the old man. And I want us to, this is the opportunity to do something, just to promote him and redeem him somewhat because of what he had gone through. He had been drinking, he had gone down the tubes, and he was just getting out of it, and then he died. And here we are. You're the president, going to be the president of the USA, and me, I'm his eldest son. I want to start this organization. I want to see if I can, let us do something, okay? That was my vision and my mission. And he tells me that I got to shut it down.
Well, hold on a second. I thought you said you had talked to him about it before you even started it, right?
Before his inauguration.
You told him you want to start this.
Yes.
What did he ask you about starting it?
So he said that I should shut it down.
He said you shouldn't start it.
I shouldn't start it.
Okay. Because?
Yeah. He said, number one, that people going to confuse it with him.
Same name.
Yeah, same name. Which is a point.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, no. My father was the first Obama. You're Obama number 2. You're not really Obama. He's Obama. I am the first son of Obama. I have a right to start an organization in his name. And I'm not going to shut it down. So there we disagreed. He told me if I don't shut it down, he's going to cut me off. Okay.
So he thought that you were kind of trading on his name.
This was an opportunity. That's the American way. Why shouldn't I? I've been thinking about it, and here's the opportunity. Why not? This was the opportunity for me to do something also, and we were together on this. I didn't see that we were separated and so forth. Even my book, I sent him like a manuscript of this book. I wrote this book about our dad, and I asked him, could he write a foreword for it? I didn't get an answer. He didn't do it.
He was concerned that the foundation could be confused as being his foundation. And you're saying you understand that. That's a point.
I understand that.
So was there any compromise where you said, okay, well, I'll make sure it's clear that it's not you because I'll call it Senior or...
No, I just said it's my father's name. You just what do you call it? What's the word? You happen to have my father's name.
Yeah, but he also happens to be president, and nobody knows your father, but everybody knows him. So he's right. People are going to think that this is his.
So what? Obama was there before him. I was there before him. So What am I
So you
supposed to do?
understood that people might be confused.
Yeah.
But in your mind, so what?
No, but if he were to say, if he were to distinguish or to be a part of this, it wouldn't be an issue. If he were to have endorsed it, it wouldn't have been an issue. He said, "This is my father's foundation, my father's foundation."
And he
That's all
never
had to
he
say.
never supported it.
No, he didn't. I don't know what. Maybe.
And the purpose of it was
Like I'm saying, he's a narcissist. He feels like he's the only one.
yeah. Well, he's got a lot of people asking him for things and a lot of pressure and a lot of.
Hey, that's no excuse to me.
So, what was the foundation established for? What did you want to accomplish with it?
Like I say, the mission was like to, in memory of my dad, so that if he were to come back, at least for me, I would have done something for him. I felt that I owed him something as the first son. I owed him something. So this is something that I would set up in his memory.
To help the people in your village, yes?
In tribute to him, so that we can help the people in my village, not even the people in my village, but people worldwide, starting with,
The people in
his
the
home.
village.
Yes.
And you explained to Barack, the president, this is why I'm doing it, to honor our father
Yes.
and to help the people in Kenya,
Yes.
very poor people in our village.
Yes.
And you're saying that he refused to support it, told you he's going to cut you off if you do it, even though he understood that purpose, and it was all because he thought people would confuse it with him.
Yes. My thinking is that maybe like up until I think he wants to hog the spotlight.
Did he suggest a different name for it, perhaps?
And maybe, like he's doing right now, is that maybe he doesn't want, I don't know if maybe that's Freudian or I don't know what it is, but somehow maybe he feels that because he's made it, then I may not have a right to make it. You get what I'm saying? No?
Well,
that far off?
that would be ultra competitive if that's what you're talking about.
I'm just trying to say because, why wouldn't he want me to do something good, If we were to do good, him and I, because the Bushes, you got Bush the elder, you got Bush, W.H. Bush was president, you got Jeb Bush, his governor. What's wrong with that?
You got Don Jr.?
Now look at Trump. That's why Trump, I admire that man. He's not into all this mushy stuff. That's all leftist stuff, whatever. He is what does he need to do to get the job done? So he's got Krishna, who's a Jew, and he's taken him to the Middle East to try and help out, to fix that situation. He could have helped me. My brother could have helped me. I'm a Muslim. He could have helped me go to Libya. Like Gaddafi was my friend. And Gaddafi asked me to come see Obama just so that they could shake hands. He was so happy that Obama was the president of America. He called him our son. And he told me, Malik, go tell your brother, I just want to shake his hand. That is enough for me. So I went to Barack.
Okay, hold on. I have on my list to ask you about Muammar Gaddafi. So it wasn't necessarily at this part of the story, but since you brought it up, how did you develop a friendship with Muammar Gaddafi?
Okay, I have a friend because I have a friend who's from Chad. Who just called me, just like a lot of people call me, and so he wanted to. Initially, he just wanted to help out George. Because
your brother,
my brother George, him being in the slum and having a hard time and so forth, and Obama is the president, and Obama is not doing anything to help him. So I think he was reaching out to see how could he get to George, and then somebody he knew that is Mohammed Nur, that's my friend from Chad, told him that he knew me. So that's how I was introduced to Mohammed Nur. Mohammed Nur was Muammar Gaddafi's friend, you know. So then Mohammed Nur invited me to Dubai, and then next thing I knew, could I go see Gaddafi?
And this is all happening while your brother is president,
Yes.
I assume. So they've got a political motive to contact you and cozy up to you because they've got some type of something in mind, ultimately for you to connect them to the president.
Could be, yeah. Okay.
So he takes you to see Muammar in Tripoli?
In Tripoli. I don't know if it was really like motive because Mohammed Nur, many people loved Obama. People loved him, you know, because of what he had done. You know, people loved him, you know. See, it wasn't like because they just wanted something, you know, they just, so Mohammed Nur loved Obama. I guess he wanted also to come to just say hello, that kind of thing. And that was the closest thing because he's inaccessible. Even up to now, nobody can reach him, really, you know. But they can reach me because I'm exposed.
And you were a known Muslim at the time, right?
So I was a Muslim, well, of course. Yeah, I'm his brother. I mean, I didn't try to hide that. You know, I'm a Muslim even right now. So anyway, I go out there and I meet the leader, Muammar Gaddafi. He's a very simple man, you know, living in a tent, you know. And so we talk this and that, and he asked me, can I do this? And I try to tell him, look, it's not like that. I don't just walk into the White House, you know. And I try to explain to him, like I'm trying to explain to a lot of people, the situation, how my brother is. You know, it's like I can't reach him. He's an inaccessible, you know. So, and I said, I'll try, because I do get to see him, you know.
What did he want you to say to him?
Just to go and just, if they could meet and just shake hands, you know.
So he wanted a meeting either in Libya or in D.C. or somewhere else?
Wherever.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just happy that Obama was president, and he just wanted to say hello. And I didn't have a problem with that because when I look back at it, there were diplomatic relations between U.S. and Libya. There was an embassy there. I think Bush had gone in there. I think even McCain went to Libya before that. Yes or no?
I don't
Yes.
know.
So,
but I'm
okay,
sure in
but
his
check
mind...
check your facts.
Yeah.
So, and also retributions, is it reparations had been paid to those people in Scotland. I think Gaddafi paid them off, you know. So there were good relations, you know, with that. But when I did come and mention this to Obama, Obama said, "Oh, Gaddafi is a bad man. I don't know what this and that. He can't do that, etc., etc." Then he ended up killing Muammar Gaddafi, him and his people, Hillary Clinton.
Did he chastise you for conducting foreign relations?
At one time, he told me, I better not to let anybody know that I'm seeing Gaddafi, because I'm thinking that he was afraid that would, you know, people would be going after him, that his brother is, you know. But I didn't see what the big deal was because there was an embassy in Libya, you know. I think now they were cooking up, somebody was cooking up this thing of removing him, you know, so they wanted to promote, you know, to start something going in Libya. And then Gaddafi was bad and whatever and so forth, that, you know, maybe he was oppressing his people, etc. But, you know, in Libya, there's free housing, free education, free health, free everything. And when you come out of college, you're given money to start out your life. Now look at it now.
So how many times did you go there?
3 times?
They pay you anything?
No.
And each time it was...
I wish they would.
You should have asked for something.
Yeah, I wish. Why not? I mean, I need help. You know, I need help for my organization. I need to build factories. I need to build hospitals.
Well, you're not shy about asking for help for your organization. You didn't ask Gaddafi for help for the organization?
No, at the time I did ask him, and he said he was going to build a school. And they were building this secondary school over there. The Barack H.O., they call it the Senator Obama Secondary School. He did nothing, but Gaddafi, they built it. Right now, a story building, and that is Libyan money. That's Gaddafi's money that built it. So I needed anybody who could assist me in my objective, in my foundation, you know.
By the way, I read somewhere that your foundation built 2 mosques. Is that correct?
I built 3 mosques.
In Kenya?
In Kenya, yes.
So part of the work of the foundation is for Islamic causes.
Okay. The foundation, the mission of the organization is to impact people everywhere for meaningful change, you know. And what we, it was founded and registered here in the USA. And it is established to engage in projects and activities at various levels in the areas of infrastructure development, in the areas of health, education, youth sports, talent, arts and culture, jobs and employment, and environment conservation, and charity.
So let me ask you this, because we've made a contribution to your, I'm proud that we've made a contribution to your charity, and we're going to ask others that if they would so like to contribute to the charity. What in particular are you guys working on now? If somebody were to donate to your charity now, the money would most likely go to what?
Right now we have a global women empowerment program and a girls education program that we are doing. Now the Global Women Empowerment Project is to get women engaged in income-generating activities so that they can, provide for themselves.
You say global.
Global.
Not just Kenya.
Not just Kenya.
Why are you, Kenya, it seems to me, has plenty of problems. Why not focus just on Kenya?
So we will start with Kenya. And then once, that program is working in Kenya, then we will move out, maybe to Uganda. We'll go to Tanzania, Burundi, East Africa, and then we move out, depending on the resources that we can get. With most things, it depends on how much money you have, So if we get a good response, a lot of money to start the microfinance and table banking activities, and be able to also provide for training and how to manage these activities. Once we do that, if we can get enough resources, a good response from our friends and well-wishers, then we can, once we've done the Kenya thing and we were successful in Kenya, then we can move out. Because on my website, from any day, I'm getting emails, not just from Kenya, because the website is global. Everybody has access to it. The website is www.barackhobamafoundation.org. And everybody, I get mail from Malaysia, I get mail from Pakistan, I get mail from Central America, I get even mail from a lot of mail from the United States. And I have to respond to them in a way, somewhat.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why we call it Global Women. And we're hoping that we could get Mr. Trump's support and Tiffany, his daughter Tiffany's support, so that she can come along, just like Ivanka came to Africa the other day, and she was in Ethiopia, and then she went to Sierra Leone to promote, women. We would like for Tiffany to come to Kenya also to promote our initiative.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So, did I hear you say you were not invited to the second?
No, this time I wasn't invited to the second.
Now, that must have really felt like a snub
It was somewhat a snub, but to me it was a relief because, going through all that, even now it's a relief. I feel relief. I don't have to be struggling to see my brother or to go to the White House. There are all these formalities, and even at the inauguration, there are all these formalities. Me, I'm a simple person. I don't need a tag to go anywhere. So
did
it
you
would
have
have been
any,
nice for him.
Did you visit at all after in the second term?
Yes, the last time I visited with him was in 2015, after he came to Kenya as president. I did go to visit him, and then when I visited him, we had an agreement.
You saw him in Kenya?
No, at the White House.
Oh, before his trip?
After his trip.
Okay.
So we had an agreement, but he didn't honor. He didn't do anything. So I said, to hell with him.
What was the agreement?
Number one, my children, my family is in Africa, and I need them. I've been working and trying for the longest time to get them here. It's never happened. I told him, brother, you got to help me out. If my family's out there and I'm over here, I'm never going to be stable. And you know how the process is. That's why for me, all these illegal immigrants coming in here and feeling they have a right to come to the USA, and I've been struggling, to follow the legal channel, and I still haven't got anybody here. No.
And so what, he agreed to help you
he
get them here?
In fact, he told me, why don't I, go to the American embassy and all that? And I said to me, I can't just walk in there and say I'm the president's brother and I want you to do this for me. I'm not that kind of person. If you could if there's a way, a legal way as the president, I'm not asking you to, I don't want anything illegally done. But if you could, maybe you could, help me out.
And this is really important, I think, to your story. I mean, specifically, how many family members were you hoping he was going to help bring in?
Yeah, well, at least my children. And
So you're just talking about your own children,
I'm talking about my own children.
helping your own children come here to live with you
Yes.
here in the United States.
And George, and
George, his half brother.
I think George was the only one that I put on that list. The rest was just my family, because I told him that it's difficult for me, and that's why I keep going back and forth. You can imagine, being here and your children are over there, and you can't stay here for too long.
When
So
did
there
you
was
get
no
your
stability.
citizenship?
In 2015,
So you've been a citizen now for almost 4 years,
almost.
and your children still and your brother was the president of the United States, and your children cannot come here.
Now, what really breaks my heart is that my two eldest children died. 2013 and 2014. My firstborn, Kweku, and his sister, my secondborn, Rashida, they died. And I had their papers in, but I couldn't get them over here, you see. And so my children died, and not even a word of, condolence, nothing. So I said to myself, what did I do to this man? What did I do? Did I sleep with his wife?
Do you think?
What did I do?
How did he even learn of their death?
I came here one time when my daughter was sick, and I said, brother, look, I need some help, and the medical bills and everything, and this young lady, she's not doing too well, okay, so he gave me $5,000. He did. He gave me, I'm not afraid to say all that, but when they passed away, again, there was no word. He never called me. But he did, he did once. Once he called me, that's when I talked to either Reggie or one of those girls. And I said, why don't you just tell my brother, call me even once, say hello, So he called once, and I think it was late at night in Nairobi. I said, hey, brother, hey, I'm like surprised that you gave me a call and all. And I said, hey, how you doing? And as usual, he says, I got to go.
He said he had to go?
Yeah, he had to go.
After how long?
He's so busy, like you say. You're taking care, all those people, like you keep saying, he's so busy, you know.
Yeah. So how long was the conversation?
It could have been not more than 5 minutes, maybe even less.
Hmm.
You know.
So at some point, your feelings, first it's brothers, then it's like, okay, we're family, but we're not close. And then at some point, it really gets to the point where you are very upset with him to the point that
No, I felt like maybe he just didn't want me around, you know. Like I was just like imposing on him. Because, I was like a bad something to him. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm too black. Who knows?
There's the race card. Are you playing the race card? Don't play the race card.
No, hey, I'm just saying, who knows? Maybe you can tell me. Well, you're telling me because he was busy. He's the president. He's got leaders of the world. He's got Hillary Clinton. He's got all those people. He's got, I don't know who. He's dealing with weighty matters. Okay? So he was too busy. Okay? Is that what you're saying? That's what you're saying, right? Okay.
Well, we've talked about family and him not being as committed to family as you are, and him being president and having lots of distractions. But you also have the fact that, as you point out, he very specifically did not want you to start that foundation, and you did.
And I did, yes.
So
I mean, yes, I did.
And he may not have been happy about you meeting with Gaddafi.
You see, and he's pissed off because I'm his elder brother, you know. So I feel it's my right, you know, to, you know, I'm his elder brother. He can be the president, but I'm still the king, you know. So my word goes, you know. So I need to.
You're king and he's president.
He's president. Okay.
No wonder we got a little bit of a struggle here.
Conflict, and there's that, you know, what do you call it, friction going, you know.
Okay, so he's not president anymore. Has anything changed?
Yeah, so I guess he was thinking he's the president, that I need to listen to him because he's like giving instructions and people are doing what he's supposed to, what he wants them to do. Here I am, Malik, you know, and I won't listen to him, you know. Mm-hmm. So maybe, I don't know, who knows? That's what it is, you know.
Well, and then you become a Trump supporter. That probably didn't help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us, you have to at least tell us, and I know we're wrapping up because we got to go eat, but yes. But you got to tell us the story of being invited to the debate by Donald Trump.
Yeah, so what happened is that Chuck Johnson arranged all that, him and Ray Basden. And they asked me, you know, how would you like to go to the debate? And I said, for sure, definitely. By that time, you know, I was really impressed by Mr. Trump. You know, he was like, he'd tell you off, you know, he just speak his mind. He wasn't like, hey, he wasn't into the image thing, you know. And I like that kind of person, you know, person who's straightforward and, you know, shoot from the hip, you know.
Not concerned with political correctness.
He wants, you know, he's going to do what he's going to do. What you see is what you get, you know, and I like that kind of person.
And let's just be 100% clear. Your support for Trump had nothing to do with the problems you were having with your brother.
It had a lot.
Oh, it did?
Because I said, now, if he's talking about, you know, my brother's keeper, and this is how he treats his own brother and his family, you know, and then he's talking about all these things that he's going to do for his community, and he can't do it for his family, you know. I mean, to me, that was a hypocrisy, you know. If he's going to do all these good things for all these people and he can't do all these good things to his closest people, you know, what kind of person is that, you know? And my conversations and interactions with him, all those 8 years, to me, you know, it was like he's saying one thing, but he's doing another thing. He's portraying one image here publicly, but, you know, is it privately or it's not, it's a different thing. So, and then what happened was that with the email, what do you call the email, Hillary email investigation?
Oh, yeah. The server and so on.
The server. and how she would go out. She would do all those things and she's the Secretary of State. So she was the custodian, and she would say that she didn't know that she was doing wrong. And I said to myself, what kind of person is this? And this is the person who is, a part of my brother's administration. She's a Democrat and so forth. And they're supposed to be advocating for the well-being of the poor and this. And when I look at the black neighborhoods and so forth, they're still the same. Blacks are not doing any better. I said to myself, and then I saw Mr. Trump speaking in either North Carolina or South Carolina, and something just clicked, and I just flipped, and I said, this is the man, And then I thought of what the Republicans stood for, and that was economic empowerment. Because at the end of at the bottom of it, that's what Republicans are for, economic empowerment. They believe in business, big business, and wealth and so forth. And I said, and not, welfare and big government. And
growing the pie instead of focusing on dividing the pie.
On dividing the pie. So I said, now this is where I'm supposed to be. So that's how I became a Republican.
So did you meet Trump?
Actually, we were on stage after the debate. And I was going to go upstage and shake his hand, but then there were too many people. There was too much shoving and pushing. And I don't shove and I don't push, And at the same time, I was to be on Hannity's show. So Sean was I needed to be at the studio. So I just said, oh, well, I've done what I'm supposed to do. At least I've shown my face. People know who I'm supporting. I hope that this will go a long way in, helping Mr. Trump.
So you were okay. You liked the way they positioned it because the media made a big deal, and Trump, I guess, started it by making a big deal that President Obama's brother is coming to show his support for Trump in the debate versus Hillary.
Yes.
And you were okay with them promoting it that way?
I don't know, because I was like heading out to the debate, and all of a sudden I was splashed on the news. CNN had me on there, Fox had me on there, MSNBC had me on there, and I was just heading out, and boom, my face and everything. And I said, wow, I wasn't used to that kind of publicity.
You thought you were just going to be in the audience.
Yes.
Turns out they really put you up as a prop, showing that, the president's brother is supporting Trump.
Yes, and when I went there, I was on the first row. Yeah, so.
But were you okay with the fact that they promoted it that way?
Yeah, as long as, we were going to beat them.
And you did.
Yes, and we did. And we're going to beat them again, 2020.
So, and what about ever since then, you met Trump?
No, I haven't met him, no. That's kind of disappointed, because it seemed like it's turning out the same way Obama was, Supported Obama for all those years, but, he didn't appreciate my support.
Yeah.
And even Mr. Trump, I still support him. I still like the way he is, but I feel like, he hasn't really acknowledged me.
Okay, so before we wrap up, let's just sum up things with your brother.
I have an autobiography that I'm finished with, and I'm looking for a publisher now.
Do you hope to reconcile with your brother?
I hope so.
And have you made any effort to do that?
No, because there's no way that I can reach him. He can reach me. Being a Nobel Peace Prize recipient, he should be able to promote peace between him and I. He should. I'm also a peace ambassador, but I can't reach him. So he could. And the perfect opportunity, if he really was a peacemaker, was a time recently when he came to Kenya. He came
just last year, right?
To my home, yes. And he could have come to me. He could have.
Were you there at the time?
Yes, I was. He could have come to me.
And did he see Auma?
Yeah, he was with Auma. But he was passing through. Another thing is he was passing through. He didn't come specifically to Kenya to see Kenyans, but he was going to South Africa for some speech. So he just was passing through. Didn't say hello to anybody. He just passed through.
Well, he also supported. She opened up some type of a center, right, in Kenya that he supported.
Yes.
So he's supporting Auma, but not you.
Yeah.
So maybe she's kind of the key to bring you guys together.
Who knows?
Well, we're going to play our part. I'm going to extend an invitation to your brother to come here and sit down with me.
Yes.
And tell his side of the story.
Let him tell his side of the story. Tell him I'm ready to reconcile. I don't have a problem with that, We should be, together as a family. I hope that he doesn't forget how it used to be. I'm disappointed that because he's a president and now he's a big shot, that he's sort of like up in the air, but I've been told that even if you're flying with the eagles, your feet should be on the ground, But I guess his orbit now is somewhat, somewhere else, is different from ours. But, with us, we'll do the best we can. I'll do the best with my organization. Hopefully I'll get some, I hope that, and I appeal to friends and well-wishers, people of goodwill, to support the Barack H. Obama Foundation in our quest to promote women and young girls in Kenya and beyond.
Well, we support the foundation, and I hope that you'll be able to reconcile with your brother.
Thank you.
Watching. Thank you for coming out.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.